Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gray, and today we're going to look at, I guess, a day in the life of an off-grid homesteader. So stay tuned. So I always like to start off my day with a cup of coffee, some bacon and eggs. It gives me the energy to get motivated and get going. So what did I do today? Well, we're going to kind of take a little walk around and kind of show you some of the things I've done today. I also want to show you a tool that I use that kind of helps me, that may help some of you, in a menial task that sounds simple enough, but really makes things much easier. All right, so let's kind of walk over to the food forest. I usually do a lot of work out here. You know, and funny folks, I do have a food forest video that I made. It's like 35 minutes long. I figure that's just too much for most of you. So let me show you something. So I got a bunch of pigeon peas that I'm putting into the ground. And you're probably wondering, why not just put it in the ground? What are these cages for? Well, I've learned in the past, depending on what you're doing or what you're growing, like some of my trees, they're not a problem. You know, like the trees, they do really, really well. Especially once they get to about 2 or 3 foot tall, then not a problem. But anything else that's small, like these pigeon peas, this was a Barbados cherry that had died back during the freeze that we had here. And I don't know if you guys remember when I first started this food forest, there was a lot of things that are here now that are not here or were here then. Like the row of lemongrass that you see there. There's guava. There's a lot of different plants here on the food forest now. I'm just kind of panning around. I don't know what you can see and how well the camera's going to pick up things, from banana plants into fruit trees and medicinal plants, nitrogen fixers and stuff like that. Anyways, back to kind of where I was going with the pigeon peas. And oh wow, these guavas are looking pretty good. We just harvested one not too long ago, and it was very tasty. Got to put these bags on it to prevent bugs. Once they get a certain size, you want to put these little bags on there to prevent bugs from getting in the fruit. One of the things Florida's filled with is lots and lots of bugs. This is we call it Florida cranberry, or the roselle plant. And I got a few of these floating around. These are all Mexican sunflowers, and I guess this is starting to seem like it's a food forest tour, right? But what I'm getting at is a lot of people have a lot of issues when it comes to pests. And what I mean by pests are rodents, be it rats, rabbits, those type of things that like to chew your small plants down. Now, I did try a couple of things. So I cut the bucket. Bottom of this bucket has been removed, so that it has a little bit of height to it. And then I planted some onions. I don't know if you can see that there. I planted some onions down here along with these pigeon peas a while ago. That's amaranth kind of hanging out in there as well, so that the taproot can reach deep down into the dirt. But the bucket gives it enough height where the rabbits usually, I'm going to say that loosely, don't want to mess with them. And a little owl might help. Kind of sits there. I have a big owl. I don't know if you guys can see that way over there. There's a big owl kind of watching over the property, but it does somewhat help. But anyways, where I was getting at is today, this was one of the jobs I did, was putting all these pigeon peas in here. And I have still more back here. Oh, wow. She's flowering. It's a star fruit. A lot of flowers on a star fruit. That means we're going to get some fruit this year. Look at that. Very cool. I didn't realize that she had that many flowers on her. She's flowering everywhere. Star fruits are very heavy producers. Even the okra we have to protect. It's very crazy when you first start things out. Until the plant gets very woody, you know, with a couple inches of diameter to it, most of the animals will just tear them apart, like the rabbits and the rats. I mean, when you're out in the woods, it is what it is, right? You got to figure out ways to kind of get around it. But I usually start them in pots, the pigeon peas. These are nitrogen fixers, plus they're heavy producers. But it works. So those are one of the things I do. Power stations help too, make things a lot easier to run pumps for hoses because we don't have a well. We have a bunch of these 275s where it holds water that we get. Now we have a different option, but we get water from a huge lake and we pre-filter it and then put it into these tanks, these Holden tanks, and running these black things over it will kind of protect it from the sun so it doesn't grow algae and stuff in there. But mainly it's used for irrigation. Sweet potatoes are doing pretty good. Where was I going with this? Oh, so it's just today I spent a lot of time working with the plants, be it, you know, working in here in the shade house. This is a new plant that I got. It's called the Leaf of Life. I got this shipped all the way from up north down here to Florida. Supposedly they're invasive once they get going. I'm going to talk a lot more about this down the road once I get this thing, but I just planted that today. I did a lot of watering as well. We haven't got rain in about a week. And sometimes these plants just need just enough water to keep them going to the next rain. You guys might be familiar with the Seminole pumpkin. I decided to do something different with the Seminole pumpkins. Keep them in here because this is a protected area. And I'm going to have the Seminole pumpkins kind of grow up. This trellis in here, just have a wall of pumpkins. That's what I'm going to do, have a wall of pumpkins. They're very vigorous plants. And what I'm trying to do is I'm going to start them in here and let them just do their thing. And so I can harvest seeds because eventually I'm going to probably, I have really no choice but to fence in the entire food forest. And we even keep pollinators in here in the shade house, little plants and stuff like that. Lots of different things growing. Surprisingly, even the broccoli, which most folks at this point in June, you can't grow broccoli in Florida in June. Most of what we're doing is like peppers, you know, we're doing stuff like that. We're growing papaya starts. Cuban oregano loves it in here. I'm using one of these Everglades cherry tomatoes. This thing was dying and I put it in a pot and put a little water into it and bada bing, bada boom. And what I do is I pluck those cherry tomatoes either to eat or I'll just break them and stick them in a pot. We already got one popping up. Some people say they have a lot of trouble starting the Everglades tomatoes. Seems to work. Matter of fact, remember that loquat video I did? I took some of the seeds and stuck them in the ground, and well, not in the ground, but in a pot to see if they'll grow. And lo and behold, we got 3 out of the 4. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. This is another Everglades tomato that I kind of got. It was at the house. I found it in the backyard, growing behind the air conditioner at the home. And I was just like, what am I going to do here? And so I brought it out here to give it another chance because this is where we spend most of our time. And as you can see, we got other tomatoes. They're just popping up. These are all Everglades tomatoes. They're the best kind of tomato to grow during the summer, to be honest with you. I don't know if you guys know. So we have California willow, very, very predominant plant out here in the swampy, you know, wetlands. And you can use, so what you do is you cut the stems. There's other stuff in here. So this here, I'll pull this out here. It's hard to pull on the back. I don't know if you can see those roots in there. All you do is take a stick of California willow and it turns this weird color. And you keep water in there, but it works as an amazing rooting hormone. So I'll take sprigs of rosemary like this, take the cambium layer off, pop it in there. For a couple of weeks, the rosemary will finally start to sprout roots. And then we'll take that rosemary sprig, start new plants, and we'll put them over here and grow more rosemary. We do a lot of herbs in here. So and then I'll start new rosemary plants, because sometimes they don't do as well out in the food forest until we get a nice decent canopy going on. I don't know if you guys have heard of African basil. It's a very beautiful plant, very tasty basil plant. Started those from seeds. They're doing pretty good. I'm pretty sure you guys saw the onions and stuff like that. And this is the Thai basil going to seeds. We'll just harvest these seeds. But I grow the Thai basil mainly because the bees love the Thai basil. It's a very potent basil. And I think my peppers, the banana peppers, are pretty much done. Matter of fact, let's go out here. So I always look for deals, and over at Home Depot, they'll sell fence panels that no one wants. And I'll make these little garden beds out of them. I got to put legs on this one because that gets it off the ground, so it prevents animals from kind of getting into it. And I filled this thing with what they call ají dulce peppers. It'll look like a little pumpkin. If I see a picture, I'll throw it on the screen for you guys, and I'll show you the development once I go over these things. Because peppers love summer heat, and this is a very heavy producing pepper, so I got some seeds in here growing against the backdrop. Look, there's a PR black beans. These were all like the old shells and stuff that I had, so kind of like a composty area with all plant matter, and the Puerto Rican black bean just decided to pop up over there. Matter of fact, an animal must have dropped one over here. If you see the loquat, but this whole thing is just one plant, and I don't know if you can see that. It's just growing and growing and growing its tentacles. Somehow it ended up at the base of the loquat. It had to have been an animal ate one of the beans or something, and or brought some of the material over here, and it went over there. Look. And then when I wonder where I'm missing my tools. So, unfortunately, one of our beloved animals passed away. My wife's cat. He was a big cat. Anyways, my mind went blank for a second, but it was a Mancoon. He's buried here on the property so that my wife can always spend time with him and stuff like that. She wants to burn his name into the cross. So we made a little grave, but she wanted to have some plants over here. So this is an avocado experiment. She wants this avocado tree to be just grow massive and just have avocados over here in this part of the property. And so we put that in with a special mix, a very loamy type of soil. We have loamy soil here, but it's not nutrient dense loamy soil. So we amended that soil and we got the avocado into the ground as well. So that was another job that we did today. And it's been hot, folks. It's been very hot. She planted another plant around here too, but I forget where it's at. Oh, I see it over there. I don't ask me because I have no clue what kind of plant it is, but she thinks it's beautiful. And she wants, cat's name was Mao because that's the sound he made all the time. And he was a very loving cat, and she misses him dearly. All right, so here I'm getting to where I was talking about that product that might save you some help. I don't know if you guys ever seen these, but you put them in 55-gallon drums. Let me get this rag off here. We use to wash our hands and use this for just lots of different things for water. Sometimes we use it for the plants and stuff like that. This one works great. I think I got this one off Amazon. This one I got from Temu. It's a hunk of junk. So anyways, depending on how much muscle power you got, you do this here. Screw them onto the barrel. And of course you got water. Now, depending on how much you like to pump, I know I'm wasting water, but for the purposes of this video, I figured I would at least show you that it works really well. Just kind of like your old school pump. Well, lo and behold, I found this thing online, and there's a lot of expensive variations of this. This is, I think it's called Sessi. Yeah. There's the DeWalt, the Milwaukee, which I'm a Milwaukee guy, you know, but anyway, everybody knows if you're into the name brands, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. So what I like about this thing is it runs just like anything else. You got a little battery here. You pop this thing on. See if I can click it with one hand. Probably not. Might have to stop the camera. There we go. I think she's locked in. We'll find out here in a second. You can check the power of the battery. Basically, you're going to click this button in the up position, and just like magic, it pulls water out of that 55-gallon drum at a rapid rate. And it's a beautiful thing. A very beautiful thing. To do water, it's a miracle worker. So, this has saved me hours and hours and hours of time. I know it sounds crazy, but when you use that pump on a continuous basis, you will feel it. Trust me, when you're filling buckets and buckets of water for either washing dishes, clothes, whatever it may be. And until you get a well on your property, you know, these are the things that you have to do. You know, there's another 275 gallon water thing. I usually have about 2,000, well, a little over 2,000, probably about 2,500 gallons of water on the property at all times. And then I have readable access to water. But anyways, so easy to charge. You got batteries. You can have multiple batteries, of course. And this product just came in super handy. And I was looking at a few other ones, like the DeWalt and Milwaukee. And funny enough, this was a third of the cost. And we've been using it for about 3 or 4 months now with zero issues. I'll look for a link or if you guys are interested in something, a product of this nature. And I'll put it down in the description for you guys. You guys can let me know if that works for you. But yeah, funny enough, folks, it's literally sprinkling on me as we speak, and it hasn't rained in like a week. And I just watered all the plants. But anyways, so that's kind of a window into my day here on the Off-Grid Homestead. I just wanted to share that with you. I don't know what your thoughts are if you like this type of content. I got a lot of projects going on, of course. I've got more gear reviews to do, stuff like that. But I figured I'd at least share just a day in the life, I guess you could call it, and see what your thoughts are. If you guys want more content, more, I don't know if it's a vlog style or not. It's not really vlog. I don't know. It's just what I do. You know what I mean? A lot of people ask, hey, Grey, what do you do on your property? Well, today was putting in plants and doing some maintenance and digging holes and, you know, putting in these plants that are going to provide for us for food, and as well as fixing nitrogen in the soil, because we live in Florida, sandy soil. So I'm always working to amend the soil to make it nutrient dense for all the fruit trees that we have. We almost have about, I don't know, I know we have 50 varieties of plants on the property now, but that's just a start. We're just getting started, folks. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate you guys that actually watch it from start to finish. Hit that thumbs up button and then drop a comment. If you're new here, let me know. Also, if you're from Wisconsin, or if you're from California, you're from New York, you're from Florida, wherever you're from, town, city, wherever you want to put in there, drop that down in the comments so I can say hello to you. I love to see where my viewers are all located at, because we got viewers all the way from South Africa and Indonesia to UK and Ireland, Canada, all kinds of places. But I'll stop now. I'll see you guys on the next one. God bless all you amazing people out there. And again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Yes, I'm dead tired. But yeah, thank you. Outside of that, I'm out.